Hello, Stitchers. Welcome to Stitch Please, the official podcast of Black Women Stitch, the sewing group where Black Lives Matter. I'm your host, Lisa Woolfork. I'm a fourth-generation sewing enthusiast with more than 20 years of sewing experience. I am looking forward to today's conversation, so sit back, relax, and get ready to get your stitch together. Hey, friends. Hey, it's Lisa from Black Women Stitch and the Stitch Please podcast. And as I say every week, this is a very special episode because this episode is our back to school episode. And it is also celebrating 5 years of the Stitch Please podcast. And we are talking today with two of the very first guests of the very first episode of the Stitch Please podcast. And that happens to be Riley Doherty and Ryan Doherty, who happen to also be my children. Yay! Y'all should clap. Okay, so welcome aboard, Riley and Ryan. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to talk with me today. We are talking about back to school sewing. And the reason that's so important for me is because I have always loved making you all things. I have loved making your clothes. I have done that since before you were born. And then when you were born, you got to wear them. And now here you are, very much adults. When we first heard from you back in 2019, you all were in a pretty different position. I think Ryan was in high school and Riley was in college. Can you talk a bit about what have y'all been doing the last 5 years? How have you been?
I don't know. I've been good, I think. I'm working a job now. I work at the local community college doing like registration and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to. Nothing much, nothing crazy.
Well, how was college? You went to college for 4 years. How was that like?
Yeah, college was good. Yeah, met some of my best friends there. Got a lot of opportunities to learn things to help me get into the position I have now. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Ryan, how about you? You were in high school, I believe, 5 years ago, and now you are doing something different. Tell us about where you are. What's your status update, Ryan?
I'm in college now. I'm about to be a senior, and I'm also studying to get into law school now.
Very exciting times. So let's dive right in. And I have some pictures to refresh your memory because one thing about kids, y'all don't remember nothing. And how about this one? Here we are. Friends, if you are on the Patreon, you get to have a treat because not only do you get to see my gorgeous face, you get to see the gorgeous faces I made with my body called children. And that was Riley and that's Ryan. And you get to see these amazing photos from some of our early outfits from back in the day. Because today's episode is a back to school episode, we have an image here of Riley and Ryan starting the first day of school. Ryan is starting kindergarten and Riley is starting fourth grade. And they are wearing these great outfits that I made for them. They were really adorable. What do you all see in this picture? Ryan, I'll start with you. What do you see in this picture? Do you remember anything about kindergarten?
I don't really think I remember anything, but I think we both I looked very happy taking my picture here. And also, I think I remember that I liked the shirt.
Great. Thank you. How about you, Riley?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I remember basically nothing from fourth grade, like at all.
Just like, did you even go to fourth grade?
I did go to fourth grade, apparently. I will have to say, though, just looking at this picture, I don't get why I'm posed like a communist dictator taking a picture. Like, this look at this portrait. Like, look at my, I'm so serious. I got the hands on someone else's shoulders. Like, I don't know why this looks like this is a picture that belongs in like some kind of presidential hall in like some country in like during the Cold War or something like that.
Here we bring.
I don't know why. I'm like, what? Why do I look so serious?
We'll find that as a history in quite a few of your pictures. Kind of like whenever you and Ryan would take a photo together, you felt the need to make sure he was doing it right. I don't understand. Maybe you felt the colossal responsibility of being in elementary school as a fourth grader and having your kindergarten brother, and it looks very much like I will protect you. I will keep you safe. It is very much giving. Yeah, I will keep you safe. Do not worry. I will protect you from the other children. And Ryan's like, I'm about to have the time of my life. I am so excited. It does. It absolutely looks this way. Like you all are, like you're off to war, and Ryan's off to like the best party ever because he got to see you go. Because this is the first time, and I think the only time you all got to go to school together. Because
Oh, okay.
the way that Charlottesville schools work, fourth grade is the highest grade of elementary school, and so because of your age gap, there were no other opportunities for you all to attend a 4-year institution where you would be in the same building because it just didn't work out that way, except for this year. So I think Ryan was excited about that, about being with you. And you were completely apparently terrified of the massive responsibility.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently. I wanted to think about um, what you remember about some of the outfits that I made for you. This is a picture here of the outfits that I made back in 2016. And this was a quilting cotton, and I really loved this fabric and really enjoyed it. Do you all remember this piece?
I think I remember taking this photo, but I don't remember anything else. I mean, I don't think this fits anymore. Do we even have these old shirts, or do you keep them
I
around?
do
Or
keep them, and sometimes I will give them to your cousins.
okay,
And it's funny because you and Riley and Ryan, y'all will outgrow the things because that's
yeah,
what you do. Your bodies grow. And I don't think you can wear these anymore because you're no longer the
yeah, I don't
size
think
that you
so.
were because you were in, I think, junior high. But dad tends to be able to wear theirs still because
Yeah,
their size doesn't change that much. But yeah, y'all definitely do. Well, we can get back to just a general question. How has your perspective on back to school sewing or our tradition of back to school sewing changed over the years? What was your initial impression? I think I often get the question, how did you get your kids to wear things that you made? And my response was, they think it's totally normal. They think everybody's mama's out there making their clothes. When did that change for you? Did you always think that? How did that come to your understanding?
I think it changed for me when I went to college because in high school and when I was going to middle school and elementary school, you would just make us wear it on the first day. But when I went to college, I got my choice to if I wanted to participate in it or not. So when I went to college, I think sort of like changed the idea to make it. This is something that's like a tradition. It's not something that I'm just being forced to do because I'm also choosing to participate in it as well.
Yeah, I hear that. So, Ryan, you were saying that as you were growing up, it was just something that you had to
Hmm.
do. You were like, okay, this is the first day of school outfits. This is what we're wearing. Here they go. And so you're saying that you did not have that much choice when you were growing up. It was just something that was provided to you.
Hmm. Yes.
And were there times during that time where you were like, well, I think I would like something different? I'm just curious about that, especially when you get to make your own choices. Like, did you feel like totally oppressed and forced to wear something you didn't want to wear?
I don't think I did because didn't. I don't think I knew what else I would have worn if I was going to dress up. So I don't think I had anything else that I would want to wear on the first day of school.
Yeah, I understand. How about you, Riley? I'm showing them a picture now of them when they're very little, and they're with their older cousin Devin. And Ryan is very small. He is just learning to walk. Ryan walked very early. Ryan walked sooner than Riley did, and I think it was because Ryan had Riley as a motivator, and Riley just got picked up and carried a lot. So he was like walking. Psh, what? For the birds, take me there. You know how to walk. But in this photo, it's these 3 matching outfits, and I think of the shirts, there is one with Dad in the picture. I think Dad still has this shirt. Y'all, of course, do not have these things because y'all were little babies. But Riley, tell me about your approach or your understanding of the tradition as something that just kind of came to you as like a normal thing. When did your perspective change?
well, I think for a while it was just like, I just kind of accepted it because it's like, oh, this is just a thing that we do. I didn't really think that much of it. I didn't really think of it as like a big undertaking, because it's just like, oh yeah, it's the first day of school. We got to get the first day of school shirts. But yeah, I also when I started going into college and also into work and stuff, and there wasn't really that same expectation of having a new shirt or having the option of wearing a new shirt for the first day of school, every first day of school. Um, I think I actually started appreciating it a little more because, like, you make really great shirts,
Oh,
and I always get compliments on the shirts that you make. And so I think it's just nice being able to have a really nice button up shirt that can be worn to first day of school or other special occasions without having to like spend a ton of money on it or get something that doesn't fit or anything like that. So I think I started appreciating it a lot more than I already did after I had a chance to kind of be out on my own and make my own financial shirt decisions.
your financial shirt decisions. Oh, Ryan, you were talking about like going to college and having that kind of shift the tradition for you. And Riley, you just mentioned that what it's like to be an adult making your own kind of decisions. I'm wondering how the traditions of me making clothes for you help to influence your own sense of style. One year, I think this might have been your junior year, Ryan, when you said that you did not want to participate in the tradition because you didn't like the fabric that I had chosen. And so then I remember we shifted so that you could choose the fabric, so that you could pick something that you liked. Do you remember that?
I don't think I remember that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that I said.
So, thinking about your own sense of style now, um, that you've been able to determine it yourself, what kind of ways have growing up with a lot of sewing in the house shaped or influenced your own personal sense of style? Hey friends, hey, it's Lisa Woolfork from the award-winning Stitch Please podcast, and I need you to help me get my stitch together. We're celebrating 5 years of the podcast with Stitch Better Have My Money, a $50,000 capacity building fundraiser. We've had a great 5 years threading the needle of limited resources, but with your support, we can stitch a brighter future. Visit stitchbetterhavemymoney.org to donate today. Donations are tax deductible, and thank you. Hey friends, hey, I know you're enjoying the audio version of Stitch Please, and thanks so much for listening. But you're missing out on all the great stuff going on behind the scenes. That's why I'm inviting you to join our Black Women Stitch Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you can see all the video versions of the podcast. Plus, you get some amazing swatch cards. You know how much I love these swatch cards. Look, see how cool these are? Oh wait, you can't see them because you are not yet on the Patreon. So when you join the Patreon, you'll be able to see this, me showing you these amazing cards. We also have some great perks at the other tiers, like discounts, swag, office hours, and more. Don't be the last sewist in the group now. Head over to patreon.com/blackwomenstitch or click the link in the show notes and become a Patreon supporter today. We truly cannot do this without you. So thank you so much.
Well, I think when I was first experimenting with my personal sense of style, I was very attracted to things that were very colorful and had lots of primary colors on it because a lot of the fabric that you would select were like very, very colorful things that had a lot of patterns and bright objects scattered throughout it. So I think I was initially very attracted to those ones. I think over the years, the fabric that we've selected have been a bit like more like less colorful, have been less like that. And I think part of that is from my own style where I think over the course of the time since starting college, I've gotten less colors in that. So I definitely think that when I first started trying to get a foundation in what I wanted my personal style to be, I definitely borrowed a lot from the colors that you would put on us throughout like much of our childhood.
Wonderful. Wonderful. How about you, Riley? You talked about your personal shirt making decisions. How has your sense of personal style evolved or been shaped from being a kid who had their mom sew a lot of their clothes?
I don't know. I don't really think I have a real sense of personal style. I mean, I just kind of wear whatever, but I don't really make conscious wardrobe decisions, as you probably know from any picture you've taken with me. But I think that I do like having the bright colored stuff. I do often, if I have the choice, I usually prefer something that has like a design or something that's kind of not eye catching, but something that's kind of bright or pops or something like that. And I think I got a lot of that from the bright colored shirts that you would make. I think you would very rarely make first day of school shirts that were in drab colors or darker colors. And I think that did have some influence, at least a little influence, on whatever you would call my personal style.
Talk a little bit about the reception of the shirts or the things that I would make when you were little. I don't know if you recall like your friends saying things or, like when did you or did you ever have the feeling that what is happening here in terms of my mom making all this stuff or having this sewing space or whatever is different from what other people do? Did you ever get a sense of that?
I mean, I think that for me at least, like, the tradition of having these nicer shirts on the first day of school, I don't think it ever did anything negatively in terms of reception, but also I think unfortunately it didn't do much positively. Like whenever I don't think if it ever came up, I remember people being like, "Oh, that's neat." Like, and that was
You mean like
that
you all
was
weren't doing
that was the start.
wardrobe breakdabs in seventh grade about like,
No,
oh my
no, we were not
goodness.
doing wardrobe base downs in seventh grade. That just wasn't the. Maybe if I hung out with more drama kids, maybe, but that wasn't the group that I associated with. So yeah, it's. I think it's yeah. It was a very like at least when I was in school, all I remember in school was a very like. It honestly was a very lukewarm reception. It was just kind of like, oh, cool, and then and then we'd go on to talking about whatever else we're talking about. So yeah, unfortunately, at least when I was in high school, I don't remember there being uh anything too strong, positive or negative with the shirts. Unfortunately, sorry to break it to
No,
you.
no worries, no worries. This does not come as alarming or new news. Ryan, how about you? Do you have any memories or stories about your friends talking or engaging about some of the things that you wore that were made, etc.?
I don't think I think the same as Riley. I don't think people really didn't care that much in high school. I definitely think the teachers liked it a lot, but I don't think the other like kids around me actually really cared that much about it. But
Right,
I
right.
think in when I went to college, so I think everyone was very impressed that like I was wearing clothes that like my mom made. I got lots of compliments from a lot of other clothes that my mom has made. Not like the first day of classes ones, but other stuff that like, I've asked her to make for me. There's certain fabrics that I liked. I've gotten lots of compliments.
I remember two things, Ryan. When you were in junior high, do you remember the thing with the camel? And it was like an insurance company, and he would say, "Hey, what's up? What's up? It's hump day." Remember?
I think that was in middle school.
In middle school. And so you really wanted a hump day shirt. And I think you wanted it to wear, I think you came home on a Tuesday and you were like, Mom, I want a hump day shirt and I want to wear it on Wednesday. And Wednesday is tomorrow. So I got out my silhouette cameo and some gold vinyl, and we happened to have a blue t shirt. And I made you a hump day shirt and you ended up wearing it to school. And you were so chuffed. You were so happy. I remember that vividly. You don't? Do you remember that at
I
all?
think I remember a little bit of it.
And I also remember you once. I think this was when in high school, Ryan. You came down here to the sewing room and you said, "Mom, you could be very useful because you know how to make things." And I was like, "What? Yes. What do you think I've been doing all this time?" It was like it had just occurred to you that I would make things. And it was like, wait a second. I wonder if she could make other things other than this.
hmm
And I could, and I did, including some really spectacular costumes that we had over the years that were really great and a lot of fun. I wanted to just look really quickly at this piece to show you again something you probably do not remember, but it is a back to school outlook from Riley and Ryan from the first day of school when they were sixth graders and 10th graders. And if you can see with this shirt, well, y'all describe it for me. Tell the folks what you see. Ryan, what do you see here?
It's like lime green and like cyan and like blue. There's blue collars. It kind of looks like like an abstract floral pattern. Kind of looks like a plant with like two leaves at the bottom,
Mhm.
and then like
Mhm.
I think like the flowers at the top.
Mm-hmm. And the shirts are the same fabric, but they are a different design. And you can see there's a lot of embroidery on the shirt. So, Ryan, your shirt has embroidery on the pocket, whereas Riley's shirt has embroidery going down the entire placket. I think there's three. These are all Celtic designs, like a nod to your Irish heritage. And so these are Celtic designs that I embroidered onto these fabrics. Riley, what do you see in this picture? Describe the facial expressions once again. Um,
What?
Riley,
I'm not photogenic, okay? It's apparently this is very serious business,
you,
okay? It's 10th grade.
you, you are perfectly photogenic. I mean, I feel like all of us basically have the same face with all the different parts mixed up, and I'm very photogenic. So, like, I just don't know why you won't smile in pictures, but you look like you're about to go off to a battle. You got your
It does very much look like I have jury duty and I don't want to go. Which is, yeah, I guess the photo it's very much that was my default pose for I think almost every picture you have of me from year 4 of my life onward. Um, yeah, so yeah.
You seem a little happier than you did when you were in fourth grade, when it was just like panic.
Oh yeah, I'm glad things improved a little bit.
Well, Riley, can you compare your expression to Ryan's expression?
Ryan's definitely a little more laid back, I have to say. He's probably trying to hold in laughter of me having jury duty and not wanting to go. So that's what it looks like to me. But yeah,
I hadn't thought about it that way. Like the more upset you look, the happier Ryan looks. It's like y'all going to
yeah, it's crazy how that
two
works.
totally different places, which by this point you are. As we kind of wrap up a little bit, as we head toward the end of our time, I wonder if you have any advice for parents or for younger kids who are interested, or maybe just advice for parents, like someone who wants to start this tradition and someone who wants to encourage their children to participate. What kind of advice do you have for parents and kids to kind of get them to buy in or, et cetera? Ryan, how about you? We'll start with you.
I think for kids, I think good advice for them is that, well, I guess in the future, this is something that you're going to look back to. You may not appreciate it now, but it's definitely something that you're really going to appreciate when you get older. It's a way that you can make memories and help create even more lasting bonds with like your parents and your mom. So definitely think to start to appreciate it now because you may not have it while it's later. So
Great. Thank you. Riley, how about you?
I think for parents, if you have kids that are a little bit adverse to the idea of doing something like this, you should try to maybe work with them a little bit. Like if you just try to stuff them into whatever shirt you make them and they don't like it, that's not going to be a good sign for the tradition moving forward. But what you do and have done and continue to do is you always work with us and you're like, okay, which one of these patterns do you like? Which one of these fabric designs do you like? And that helps. I think that helped me feel like I was a little more involved in the tradition, and it wasn't just put this on and go to school. It was like, it was more of like, let's work and like make a design for a shirt that we can all wear, that we all like, and it's something that you would like to wear. So I think on a parent side, definitely doing a little bit of negotiation
Mm,
with your kids to help find some clothing that they would actually want to wear or a design they would actually like. And if you can plant that seed of them liking the designs and being able to have a hand in the creative process, I think it'll help them keep the shirts around and wear them longer, more than just for the first day and also moving forward.
wonderful. Y'all, this has been such a beautiful conversation. I'm going to ask you the question that we ask everybody on the Stitch Please podcast. You ready? Okay. We'll
Sure.
start with Ryan. The slogan of the Stitch Please podcast is that we will help you get your stitch together. Ryan Doherty, what advice do you have for our listeners to help us get our stitch together?
in relation to the first day of school,
Yes, or any type of back to school or family sewing traditions.
I think family sewing tradition is definitely another way that you can sort of like create memories. with your kids so that you can look back onto them. Like, other than just like taking photos, I think it's another way that you can see how like your child has grown over the years. Like if you start it especially early, you can compare like them when they were a baby versus when they are much older. You also let your child participate in the tradition as well. It's also, I think, a good piece of advice as well, because it doesn't become something that's like, oh, just wear this, oh, you have to wear this. And I think it also allows them to develop their own type of personal style as well, letting them explore different types of fabrics, and also I think introduces them to your sort of hobby or something that you're very passionate about. It's not just something that's like you just do it and you just force everyone else to participate in it. It's something that they can also participate in. And it might also get them interested in wanting to continue the tradition as well if they make it also a part of them as well.
Great. Thank you. Riley, how about you? What advice do you have for our listeners to get their stitch together when it comes to developing a family tradition around sewing or something similar?
I think it's something where, at least for a certain point, you just got to kind of sit down and actually just start doing it. Like, it may not work out great the first time around. I'm not saying that ours ever didn't work out, but it may not work out great the first time around, but the more that you work at it and the more that you work with your family to help them get involved, the more you can actually turn it into a tradition they actually want to do, and will actually get some really good shirts or outfits out of it.
Y'all, thank you so much for speaking with me today. This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for your time. And y'all, what can we expect from y'all? Well, I guess, do you want people to follow y'all on social media?
No.
I don't have social media.
Okay. And no, you don't have social media either. I wonder who did that. That was me. I did that. I said they couldn't have any social media, but y'all never wanted it, kind of. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Not really. It doesn't seem that great. Everyone seems pretty miserable.
Well, good. Good for y'all being happier than the rest of us. Yes, I'm so glad for y'all for that. That was a score win for mom. There you go. Thank y'all so much again. I love you all so much. And I am so proud of you both. I am so proud of y'all. I am so grateful every day that I get to be your mother. I really, truly do. And thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. This was a lot of fun, and I think it's going to make a great episode. You've been listening to Stitch Please, the official podcast of Black Women Stitch, the sewing group where Black Lives Matter. We appreciate you joining us this week and every week for stories that center Black women, girls, and femmes in sewing. We invite you to join the Black Women Stitch Patreon community with giving levels beginning at $5 a month. Your contributions help us bring the Stitch Please podcast to you every week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. And come back next week and we'll help you get your stitch together.